2023 Singapore money laundering case. In the summer of 2023, Singapore woke up to one of the most startling financial crime investigations in its history. A money laundering scandal so vast it shook confidence in the city state's reputation as a clean and tightly regulated financial hub. It began in earnest on 15 August 2023 when more than 400 police officers from the Singapore Police Force and other agencies staged a series of coordinated raids across luxury homes and condos in the city state's wealthiest neighborhoods. Behind the gates of sprawling good class bungalows and high end apartments, officers found evidence of a sprawling network of illicit wealth, bank accounts, properties, luxury cars, and high end consumer goods, all tied to a sophisticated scheme to launder criminal proceeds. By the end of the initial raids, authorities had arrested 10 foreign nationals, all of whom were charged with offenses including money laundering and related crimes. They were mostly in their 30s and 40s, holding a mix of passports and residencies, and many lived lifestyles that belied the illegal source of their funds. Another 17 suspects fled Singapore as the investigation widened, leaving behind assets and unanswered questions. What made this case unprecedented was its sheer scale. Law enforcement ultimately seized or froze over 3 billion Singapore dollars, around 2.2 billion US dollars in cash, bank accounts, properties, vehicles, luxury watches, handbags, jewelry, gold bars, and even bottles of fine liquor. These assets range from branded luxury handbags and diamond encrusted jewelry to 58 gold bars weighing around 1 kilogram each, high end watches from brands like Patek Philippe and Richard Mille, and memberships in exclusive country clubs worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. As the court process unfolded, all 10 of the arrested individuals eventually pleaded guilty to charges related to laundering criminal proceeds. Amounts connected to scams, online gambling operations, and other illegal activities overseas. Between April and June 2024, they received prison sentences ranging from 13 to 17 months, after which they were deported and barred from returning to Singapore. In some cases, the size of the jail term drew public surprise given the dramatic headlines around the $3 billion Singapore figure. Legal commentators explained that sentencing was based on specific charges and amounts proved in court rather than the headline total of all assets involved in the broader investigation. The scandal also exposed weaknesses in Singapore's anti money laundering controls. In the years that followed, authorities found that several major banks and financial institutions had not fully met their obligations to trace the source of funds, assess customer risk properly, or follow up on suspicious transactions involving persons linked to the case. As a result, in 2025, the Monetary Authority of Singapore (MAS) imposed 27.45 million Singapore dollars in fines on 9 banks and related financial firms, including Credit Suisse, UOB, UBS, Citibank, and Julius Baer, for lapses in their AML controls tied to the investigation. Penalties for each institution ranged from around $1 million to 5.8 million Singapore dollars, marking one of the largest collections of compliance fines since Singapore's 1MDB related enforcement actions. Beyond financial penalties, the scandal prompted Singapore's government to review and strengthen its anti money laundering framework across sectors, banks, property agents, precious metal dealers, and others to prevent the city state from being misused as a conduit for laundering illicit funds in the future. In the end, the 2023 money laundering case became more than just a headline about billions seized. It emerged as a defining moment that tested Singapore's regulatory systems, challenged its image as a clean financial center, and reshaped how authorities and institutions approach financial crime in the years that followed.